Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Basketball Bro, and today we're going to be talking about a brief history of the UK versus Louisville basketball rivalry. What to expect on this channel: you can expect pretty much all things college basketball, whether that be analysis of games or March Madness predictions, which will be coming up soon when March Madness is taking place. And or we'll just be talking about rivalries, scandals, players, all kinds of stuff. It's everything college basketball. But today, we're going over, in my opinion, the best rivalry in all of sports. Maybe Red Sox Yankees beat it. But Louisville and Kentucky in basketball. This rivalry is huge. As a Kentucky native, I'm probably a bit biased. But Kentucky doesn't have any professional sports, right? This is our game. We don't have any pro basketball teams. We do have a pro soccer team in Louisville and a minor league baseball team, but this is the game. Like, the fans are dedicated, the fans are ready. This is pretty much all we have to do in Kentucky. And basketball is huge here. College basketball is huge, and this game is a huge deal to a lot of locals. And it's a huge deal for college basketball fans in general. And the first game of Kentucky and Louisville was played way back, over 100 years ago, in the great year of 1913, where the Wildcats beat the Cardinals by a score of 34-10. Thankfully, in more recent years, the game has gotten a little bit more higher scoring and a little bit closer. You know, that was all the way back in 1913. And that was the origins of the rivalry. Was a 34-10 victory by Kentucky. They played again throughout the 1910s, all the way until 1916. And then they took a break for 6 years until 1922. And then they played. They didn't play again after 1922 until 1948, which is when Kentucky beat them. They took like a 26-year hiatus. Kentucky won 91-57 in 1948, excuse me. Then in 1951 they played in 1959, and then 1983. This is the game that really solidifies the modern era of this rivalry, because Louisville and Kentucky played in the NCAA tournament, and Louisville beat them in overtime, 1983, in Knoxville, Tennessee, by a score of 80-68. And that fueled the rivalry. They started playing consistently after that in the 80s. And of course they don't like each other. They're not far apart over on I-64. The student base, they don't like each other. The fans don't like each other. No one likes it. It's Kentucky. It's a rivalry. What do you expect, right? But to make matters worse, this rivalry got a lot more heated when Rick Pitino became the head coach at Louisville, because he was the head coach at Kentucky in the 90s. He won a championship with Kentucky, had a great program, and then he went to the NBA. That didn't work, so then he wound up at Louisville, and he coached at Louisville for like 18, 19 years, coached there for a really long time, and Kentucky fans hated him. And John Calipari, Kentucky's coach, he's still their coach, could not stand Rick Pitino. It was funny just watching those guys be in the same room together. You could tell they hated each other. So Rick Pitino really added a lot of fuel to this rivalry, and new head coach Chris Mack for Louisville has been there a couple years. He doesn't really quite have the same edge about it as Rick Pitino, but we'll see. The rivalry's still huge and strong. Still the best rivalry in sports, but we did lose a little bit with Rick Pitino gone. But this past year, Kentucky beat Louisville by a score of 70-70 in another overtime game. And it was a great game. Kentucky plays on like the L's down, which is what they do when they beat Louisville. And you know, it's just a fun time. I mean, Louisville fans, I'm sure, were not happy with the loss, but it was just a great game experience all around, just for the whole state. But my favorite UK Louisville moment is not the Edgar Sosa buzzer beater, or the Louisville overtime victory in 1983, or the Kentucky overtime victory this year. No. There was two men by the name of Charles Taylor and Ed Wilson, who was at a dialysis center, and there was a punch thrown over Louisville, Kentucky. Back in 2012, they were meeting in March Madness in the NCAA tournament. And he said, let's see here. He said he just happened to think U of L would beat Kentucky, and he started to run his mouth, explained dialysis patient Ed Wilson. Charles Taylor claimed he wasn't running his mouth. He wasn't even talking to Ed. He said he was talking to somebody else about the game, and Ed just had to show up, and he had to insert himself in the conversation. And Ed did admit to hitting him, though he said, yeah, I didn't hit him that hard. I did hit him, but it wasn't that hard. By the time the police were called, by the time the police got there, the fight was broken up, everything was fine. But that is my favorite moment in the Kentucky Louisville sports rivalry. So make sure to like and subscribe to my channel, because I have no subscribers, barely, because I'm new. And comment down below what's your favorite sports rivalry, even if it's not college basketball, whatever it is. Or mention your favorite Kentucky Louisville basketball moment. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you next time.